I can start. Hey, Max, David, thanks so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. I guess what I'm trying to understand is what you are looking to develop is a microRNA technique, or I guess process or approach that would somehow be uniquely your approach. And then is that something that you think then you would later somehow patent or protect and then commercialize? I'm trying to understand what the product is. I get the idea that using microRNA is a better way to go, but what's the product at the end of this is what I'm looking to understand.
I can take that one. So
Great.
Reprogramming factors are one way to create induced pluripotent stem cells. And there's been research done on microRNAs as a way to create pluripotent stem cells as well. So the research has proven that this is a more efficient way of doing it. And it's a safer way of doing it as well. So what we want to do is take this approach and scale it up and then deliver cheaper stem cells so that they can be used in stem cell therapy. And that would in turn lower the cost of stem cell therapy.
David, who is doing that research now? If people have already done some research that you're relying on, are they taking it this next step to do what you're doing?
So the research is still fairly new on this, and there's a lot of different ways that these can be used in combination with some reprogramming factors. There's a whole spectrum of methods that you can use to create these stem cells. What we want to do is just perfect that method whether it's using the microRNAs in a combination with some of the reprogramming factors. And then we would like to take that and scale it and create a business around it.
Who are your competitors?
Max, do you want to take this?
Okay, yeah. So what our goal necessarily is more so to, like I said, to create a patent. However, in terms of competition, it's more so we're trying to make this the standard form versus other forms of creating pluripotent stem cells, as there are multiple ways of doing so. It's so with us, we're trying to make this more work as this has been done. However, people have moved towards other methods because it was how do I put this into words? So can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Well, I was just curious, are there other research labs? Are there others who are doing this work? So who are your competitors? And it sounds like what you're doing is proving out a methodology that would lead to this 100-fold,
yes, exactly.
Right, 100-fold benefit. And then once you do some initial proving, then go to the NIH or others to get more funding.
So with the only people that I've seen really necessarily do this, and hopefully we can go to, the idea is to kind of show like a proof of concept that this should be the way that other people, that are, bigger than us, that are in stem cell, working with stem cells to kind of standardize this and move away from of these factors, transcription factors that are also called Yamanaka factors, and focus on trying to use these microRNAs in order to create these pluripotent stem cells. So it's not necessarily that we're trying to compete with others. We're just trying to standardize a protocol so that we can more cells can be created as a result.
Thank you.
I have a question. So, and I don't know enough about this. You're going to get mRNA, and you need to extract that from something?
Yeah. So in the embryonic stem cells, the microRNAs, which they're expressed really highly, so it means there's a lot of them. Specifically the ones that are used to reprogram differentiated cells, such as fibroblasts or like your skin cells. So you can purchase microRNA extraction kits where we would then extract the microRNAs of interest, and those could be used to reprogram differentiated cells.
So do you have access to the embryonic stem cells?
You can purchase embryonic stem cell lines through larger manufacturers. I'm not quite sure the process that they use to get them, but they are like they might be transformed using like the previous method or the transcription factors.
So like some embryos are usually, donated. So if people, say abortion or anything like that, they're donated that way. Anything used for research purposes, then that's how you'd get those embryos.
So do you know how much embryonic stem cell line costs?
It depends on the amount of cells that you're looking for. We're not looking for much. We're just looking for enough to get the microRNAs that we need, which then can be amplified using another method. So like PCR. So once we have the microRNAs, we can amplify them to get more. We don't need more embryonic stem cells.
And do I have this right that you would pull out the ones that work on lower back pain?
Oh, so these microRNAs that we are extracting would be used to just create the stem cells, and then the stem cells they can be differentiated into a number of different cell types, such as neuronal cells or muscle cells, and those could be then used to treat musculoskeletal conditions.
Great. In your example of the people who have been given stem cell therapy, where did they get that done? Are there specific hospital systems? Are there specific research labs that provide stem cell therapy?
So
like does Mass General do this?
Okay, yeah. So there's no. So there's one big one that there's a lot of people know that. So there's like the Stem Cell Institute in Panama, where a guy named Neil Riordan, he does a lot of, because it's not, another issue is that it's not backed by health insurance. It's a kind of more experimental thing because we're trying to improve this limiting factor.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like where people typically get it, it can be, some hospitals can get it, some clinics offer it. It's just whether they decide to or not. They will explicitly say like, oh, we offer stem cell therapy or not. They didn't disclose the specific location of where the stem cell therapy actually was, but there are lots of places where you can get it. And in terms of like stem cell research and stuff like that, here in Massachusetts, we have the Harvard Stem Cell Institute as one example where they do a lot of stem cell research.
Right, Brock Reeve, I think, runs that. Is that correct? Christopher Reeve's brother, Brock Reeve, I think. He's a neighbor of mine. So if you need that connection, you let me know.
Yeah, that would be.
Seriously, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Okay, thank you. I think it's fabulous.
I know we're at the 1 minute mark, so I'll try to go quick, Max. David, you mentioned that obviously stem cell therapy can greatly reduce costs in the sense that it avoids surgery, avoids PT, potentially avoids long-term drug, drug prescriptions. Has there been any studies that show just how much stem cell therapy can reduce those costs yet? Is there enough data out there yet to know?
So Max, can you go to slide 12?
Whoa. Which?
One more slide. Yeah, so we did a little bit of a cost comparison of like current methods for treating injuries. So
Mhm.
here we have like the cost of a typical ACL injury, $20,000 to $50,000. Does not include the cost of physical therapy, equipment, or, you know, like you had said, any sort of drugs to treat depression or anything that follows, you know,
Got it.
with chronic injury. So cost of current stem cell therapy runs about 10 to 30,000. It depends on what you're doing. We couldn't find a direct comparison to ACL injury, but we anticipate getting this cost to, you know, the lower end of that range. And it all depends on, you know, scaling this process up to a sizable, you know, something sizable where you could produce these stem cells at scale.
Super. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. I know we're at time, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Mhm.